How's it going, everybody? BtC Presto here with Slick.
What's good?
Here to show you a build that I used to use a lot with Anders, and that's Sentinels into Kodiaks.
Yeah.
Right away, I'm going to build 2 supply pads and then send my Marines out to get the supplies right in front of my base because I need supplies as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Yep. And then the bleed of power I'm going to get is restoration drones because I don't really need that R&D thing.
Right.
It's because I'm not really going to upgrade at all.
So why are you going all supply pads? What's your plan with that?
Well, I need supplies more than anything than power at this point because Sentinels cost 280 supplies and 30 power. So I only need like 1 generator for that 30 power. So I'm going to build a generator last on my main.
Gotcha. And your plan, what time do you expo?
Right now.
Oh, so you do it? You try to expo?
I should have exploded before, like even quicker, but I underestimated how quick I would get the 500 supplies I needed. So you should be expanding at about 40 to 50 seconds.
That makes sense to me. So you have that base going right away.
Yep.
And guys, if you aren't aware that this build is actually inspired very heavily from the infamous Udpoo and his tournament-winning Sentinel build from the BtC 2v2 Open. If you haven't seen those videos, make sure you check them out. They're on our channel from about 2 weeks ago. So Presto, using this, do you do this build in ones at all, or what do you usually run this build?
No, this is only in 3s because Sentinels really aren't that good in 1v1s, at least from my experience. I haven't cracked the code on it. Maybe Udpoo did, but I sure have not. Yeah. But yeah, this is a build I would use in a team play because I need someone to defend me for these like first 3 minutes or so.
Oh yeah.
And usually, if someone's going to build any sort of units in the first 5 minutes, it's going to be infantry, and Sentinels do not hold up to infantry.
Right, and that's for sure. Especially Marines, man, they just like shoot little pellet guns at them, and then they just get absolutely rinsed.
Right, exactly. So right now, on my expo, I'm going generator, supply pad, because I need power. I don't need a lot of power right now, but like I would need Tech 2 to go to transition into Kodiaks. So in the beginning of the game, you're going to see that I used 200 of my power to expand to 200 power to upgrade a supply pad because, like I said, I need as many supply pad, as many supplies as I possibly can. Because right now, see, I'm just waiting on the supplies to get the Protector Sentinel.
Yeah, that's right. And so you can get these are definitely the quickest air units you can get for UNSC. And for sure, obviously, as a lot of you guys know, when you first started playing, these things were just absolutely ridiculously overpowered. So as soon as they were nerfed, a lot of people just immediately dismissed them.
As we did.
Exactly. And until we saw, say, Mitch and Udpoo do some incredible plays in our tournament, we just completely assumed that these things were just absolute trash. I just never ran into them at all, say, in pubs or whatever. Never even saw them until Udpoo brought them out. So as soon as we knew they were still viable, it was like, oh wow, how do we do this? So we made sure to implement it right away. So the second you have, say, so it's 3 minutes and 15 right now. You got about 2 or 3 Sentinels right about now. So what's your goal here?
So right now I'm just trying to take over the map, get those power nodes so I can get Tech 2 even faster.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and like you said, so you wouldn't do this in ones, guys. You know, it's just a death wish, especially because even the Jackrabbits and Marines just absolutely rinse this, and Grunts as well, man. Grunts are really strong at the moment. So just you're definitely gonna only want to do this in 2s, 3s particularly, just because you always have at least 2 players defending you in that case. These things are still building killers. They're not as effective as anything else, but you know they're super fast. They're great at taking over a map very quickly. So that's what you do. You just grab all the power nodes as soon as you can. Is that the plan? Yeah,
I'm trying to get as many power nodes as I can. Because if I'm playing in team play with you or with Nick, you guys would be attacking their base with something at this point, or
Jackrabbits or say Marines or infantry, something like that for sure. And another thing too with the Sentinels, Preston, do you want to be aggressive right away or do you want to be extremely careful? How do you play with these?
No, I've been extremely careful because Sentinels by themselves aren't that good. They need to be in a group of at least like 6 or 7 to even be somewhat effective. One-on-one, they suck.
That's right. And another thing as well, we found a lot in playing with these things is that you need to keep them as like sort of a wild card. So you always need to keep them hidden in the back of your base. You can't engage mini bases because all it takes is 1 or 2 Wolverines, a couple Marines, a couple Grunts, like 1 Reaver, I'd say, even to shoot these damn things made out of balsa wood straight out of the air. So
For real.
if you so in order to really truly run these Sentinels, they're extremely effective, as Presto said. Once you get around say 9, 10, even that's even a more promising amount. Then what you can do is collectively use those as kind of like you hit those really important parts. Like say if there's a base without turrets, you attack with all the Sentinels at once. Or if there's an Expo that comes up, you swarm those Sentinels, you upgrade them as quickly as you can, and then like say right around the 6-7 minute mark, you have such a sizable army if you haven't lost any, you haven't overextended, that you're basically putting yourself in an incredible position in the game because you have some of the fastest air units that the UNSC can have. So exactly. So what do you do? So as soon as you get that base upgrade after you go Tech 2, go straight into Kodiak play. And why do you go Kodiaks? What's the purpose for that?
Well, the only reason why I go Kodiaks is because of Anders' leader upgrades, which I can't think of at this particular point.
That's all good.
What is it? Sentinel Beacon. That's what it is. So once the Kodiak shoot, a Sentinel comes out and then attacks whatever the Kodiak was attacking. And that is extremely helpful.
Yeah, no kidding.
But in this upcoming patch, Kodiaks are going to be nerfed a bit where they're going to slow their fire rate. So I'm not sure if the Sentinel will still be out in time for the Kodiak to continue shooting.
Yeah, 100% doubt that it won't be out anymore. So it's going to be essentially once again another very careful play. Kodiaks are still extremely helpful with the Sentinels because the only thing that's going to hurt these Sentinels are vehicles and some infantry. So with those, say, that constant rain, if you have 2 or 3 Kodiaks set up outside their base while you're rushing them, or while you're pushing them, then, say, with the Sentinels, you're just basically doing like a 1-2 punch style of methodology. And those Sentinels, too, if you have enough Kodiaks set up, and those Sentinels are flying around, still shooting the base after the Kodiak siege shot, then what's going to happen is you're always going to have constant vision of the situation, and those Kodiaks are still going to be able to shoot and just rain hell upon a base without even having units over it.
Exactly.
Which is really helpful in any situation. So, and especially as well as this, if they just go straight, they're like, oh shit, there are so many Sentinels, man, let's go a bunch of infantry, let's go anti-air, then as soon as Presto starts swapping into the Kodiaks, then what are you going to do against that with those units? You're not going to do much if you have enough Kodiaks. So
right.
It's kind of like so you basically build into one thing completely, and you can overcommit to it if you think you're going to win with just that. But if you have the Kodiaks on standby, then it's a pretty easy swap back to ensure defense and also help with the defensive offensive way of sorts. So anyway, guys, this is pretty much the build after this. So you just kind of push right to the main or the mini base, depending on where the weakest point is with some scouting. And then you absolutely rinse everything. Preston, any final comments on this build?
Yeah, I would say this build is very good if you don't overcommit with the Kodiaks. They're good, but like they're a support unit more than anything, or like a surprise unit that you put at an elevated position and then rain down on a base below. I wouldn't really make more than 6 Kodiaks if you're going to keep them together to like attack one base, because you need that extra population for the Sentinels to protect them.
Right.
And just do whatever you need with the Sentinels. Having like full pop Kodiaks isn't like the smartest idea because they're so useless if they're not in siege mode.
Or a good position at all.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're caught off guard while they're moving across the map or something.
Yeah, like right now I'm just setting up my Kodiaks just to show off like what they can do with just 4 of them.
Yeah.
And like the rest being Sentinels. But
I mean, this whole build is kind of a gamble too, isn't it? Like, wouldn't you say? Like, it's if you don't do things properly, if you aren't extremely careful, then you most likely you could most certainly lose a very large portion, if not your entire army, if you're caught off guard.
Right. So now I'm just waiting for Sentinel Beacon. I get it, and then I send one Sentinel up to the base so it can have vision of it, and the Kodiaks can start shooting it, and then that whole base will melt.
Yeah, exactly that. And of course, like you said as well, like you're keeping the Sentinels over your Kodiaks at all time. They need to work together 100% of the time, so that way, you know, there's always coverage. That way the Kodiaks have defense, the Sentinels have defense, vice versa. So having this big mix kind of helps out the build a little bit more. But of course, if you're in 2s or 3s, you always have somebody else also supporting you, so that kind of brings it further a little tiny bit more. And I think from this point, Presto's just going to absolutely melt this AI base. I hope you guys enjoyed this build. This is a different one. This is an unorthodox UNSC build that you can most certainly use in certain situations. It's one that it takes a lot of practice to really nail down. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Presto, great job. See you guys next time.
We've demolished an enemy structure. All units. We've reduced an enemy structure to rubble.
If you can see it, I can shoot it.
Air level 1 researched. The final enemy base is under attack. All units. All units.
Adjusting elevation.
An enemy has lost all their bases. I'm not really one for pep talks, but we did well to